UNC won what I'm calling a defensive battle. At times, rock fight-like.
I felt like I was watching Steelers-Ravens last night.
The refs let them play.
Yeah, they did.
And I kind of like that. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. DJ Burns put his shoulder down a few times, kind of tush push like he was just gonna pick up the yard by any means necessary, and Bacot was given the opportunity to put the forearm up, defend himself, and they just let him play. I like that. It's funny. I was joking yesterday that some of those rivalry games from the 70s must have been played like physical battles. They turned back the clock in PNC last night. Looked like Reynolds out there. But the other thing we learned outside of, I think it was a spirited game. I think that at times maybe energy and effort took precedence over clean play. It was like, I'd rather win this scrap than make the prettiest or most efficient basketball play. I think Ben Middlebrooks sold it a little bit, but Armando Bacot with the shiver running down the court in the backcourt was an interesting decision. Like that kind of stuff took precedent over the actual basketball at times. But from a basketball standpoint, as of 4 days ago, I think there were the 4 North Carolina ACC teams and Clemson, maybe Miami also. There was kind of like this top tier to the ACC. Since then, Duke and UNC separated themselves. UNC last night. We talked about it yesterday. We said in the ACC, Duke made a statement against Pitt. They looked really gosh darn good, and someone was going to get the chance to make a return statement. Well, UNC one-upped them because they beat a better team on the road in a raucous environment, and it was a rivalry game. UNC is it's interesting. And I like that we were on this early as a show, and we've talked about it. A lot of times you see a team in college sports kind of take on the image of their best player, right? If your best player, let me think of this. If your best player, we'll just look at some quarterbacks this year. If your best player is Caleb Williams, and you're in USC, kind of Hollywood, right? Highlights, big plays, taking chances, taking risks. If your best player is Braylon Allen, the running back from Wisconsin, the whole team suddenly is like ground and pound and no nonsense, and it's you're not saying anything to the media, and you just take on the image of your best player. Well, if you're looking at UNC, you're going, oh, does that mean they put up shots from everywhere like R.J. Davis? Are they taking on the image of R.J. Davis? I'm like, not really. R.J. Davis is really gosh darn good, but they're not really taking on the image of him. Okay, so I know what's happening then. Rebounding and the down low. They're the Armando Bacot, all those accolades, the long-time career. They're starting to take on him image. I'm like, I don't think so either. They're not really doing that. Well, what is it then? Well, they kind of do whatever it takes to win. Harrison Ingram? The wait a second, you're talking about I'm just going to let you know this is going to be a streak of the weirdest nicknames in college basketball, but I've given them all to Harrison Ingram. You're talking about the amorphous blob, the potpourri, the shapeshifter.
I want these on shirts.
You're telling me about the silly putty, the Play-Doh, the guy that could be anything? The team is taking on his image? I'm not saying he's the best player. Maybe this is a team that's a little outlandish, and they're just taking on the image of their second or third best player. But they're starting to feel like a team that takes his lead. They're playing really gosh darn good defense, which is something that Harrison Ingram does. They're kind of, waiting, looking at the game. A lot of their games in the ACC haven't been blowouts at halftime, but they've been double-digit leads by the end of the game. They're almost feeling out the game, saying, all right, what does this game, this flow, this tempo require of us? Then they're coming out in the second half, adjustments being made. Harrison Ingram had 19 rebounds last night. Dennis, it was funny. We were texting during the game. At halftime, one of my reactions was, Ingram has 10 boards. It wasn't even halftime yet. It was partway through the first half.
It was like 3 minutes left in the half.
It was Ingram has 10 boards. And then at the end of the game, he sent me, Ingram has more rebounds for any North Carolina player against NC State ever. Now, that rivalry's been played a lot over the years, and there's been some really, really good rebounders wearing Carolina blue in that rivalry. He has more rebounds in any game than any of them. Hansborough. I mean, just like this century. Hansborough, John Henson, Ed Davis, going back a little bit, Haywood might have been in this.
Last year, Baycott had 18.
Baycott. Sometimes I forget. It's the same. The guy playing now is also the guy that's been a double-double threat for 100 years. They've had guys, most of any. Tied with R.J. Davis for the team lead in minutes. Let's hear a little bit from Harrison Ingram. Here he is on the physicality of the game and his first appearance in that storied rivalry.
It was physical. It's a rivalry game. The fans are yelling all type of stuff. It was a physical game. It was good to play my former teammates, Michael O'Connell on the other team, seeing him, seeing my parents, seeing some other guys from Duke that I know. It was just cool seeing everybody. Man, it was crazy. It was crazy walking out there an hour before the games, fans yelling out stuff about me. I don't even know how they know, but, it was a good experience.
I actually really like that, and I like that he embraced it there. I like that he wasn't like, it was insulting how they spoke to me. He was like, I don't even know how they knew that stuff they were talking trash to me about. I like the atmosphere. I didn't always love the gameplay, but I loved the effort that I saw from both teams. And obviously UNC likes the result. Second half, they locked down their defense even further. They held NC State to poor shots, missed shots, bad shots, a lot of threes, and a lot of threes that didn't go in, and they came away with the victory. Now, I want to address this real quickly here. Obviously, Dennis and I follow these teams, all the teams in the Triangle, as much as probably anyone on the planet. And one of the things I'm seeing from NC State fans in response to this loss is, it's a make-miss league, right? If you miss the shots, what do you expect? And NC State missed the shots. I think it's a little bit of that, just a cold day shooting from NC State. But that's also not taking into account that UNC does this. That's part of what they do. NC State shot 9.5% from three. That sounds really bad. 9.5% from three is really bad. But last game, Clemson against North Carolina shot 5.6% from three. So, and was doubled that up.
There's a trend now.
The game before that in ACC play, Pitt shot 17.2% from three against UNC. Sometimes it's the other team missing shots, and part of it is that, but you also have to give credit to UNC for forcing those tough shots and getting a hand up and closing out, and maybe the scouting report, right? Leave this guy open, not that guy. That alone right there will lower your shooting percentage based on your yearly averages. It was a sloppy game, but it wasn't a wholly terribly played game by the winners. So don't take away the success that they did have. Give them credit. UNC looked like one of, if not the best team in the ACC, and looked like one of, if not definitely, a top 3 team in the country. And NC State, your leaks in the boat were exposed. Patch them by the next time you play them in the Dean Dome. Actually, patch them by your next ACC game. Let's be real.
Yeah, do it by Saturday if you're staying.